AEW Grand Slam Australia failure is finally over, and oh my god, was it a shit show? And I'm not talking about the show itself. I have not watched the show, okay? Why would I? I don't care. But there's a couple of issues that happened logistically that we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about Tony Khan being booed out the fucking building when he decided to greet the Australian crowd. And we're also going to talk about something else that happened on NXT Vengeance Day, which is a mixture of Vengeance and Judgment Day. They can't use Judgment Day anymore because there's a group using that name that's still around that shouldn't be still around. But we're going to talk about NXT first. Why am I talking about NXT? Well, a group debuted last night. Now, I don't know the name of this group. I don't think anyone does right now. We don't know who they are. But we do know the names of these people. Okay? Now, I believe these names are all said on commentary, or at least most of them. Now, I'm going to read these names to you, and you're going to tell me if any of these people can get over. Okay? So, Osiris Griffin. Cutler James. That sounds like a right jobber name, man. Cutler James. I don't know how to pronounce this one. Sakun Sugars. And finally, Dion Lennox. So, Osiris Griffin might work. It might. Cutler James is jobberific. I can't pronounce that one. Sakun. Sakun Sugars. And Dion Lennox. I don't know what Dion Lennox is going to do, but I wish this group all the best, man, with these ass names. Now, it's not just the names of these people that's a problem, man, because they were basically trying to be the Shield and Retribution at the same time. They were wearing, you know, when the Shield used to wear them fucking face masks. They were doing COVID before COVID, right? They'd come out with them face masks and whatever, right? These guys were wearing pretty much the exact same ones, pretty much. And people are comparing them to the Shield, not as a legendary group, but the way they look. And I see it. And that's not good, right? Now, C Wrestling, he said that it could make sense with the group doing this because they've been inspired by the Shield. The Shield was well over 10 years ago. So maybe they're inspired by that. Cool, but, yeah, it's not for me. I don't care about inspiration. Why are you trying to be another group? Be your own group. But with the names that I've been given here, it's not a good start. Okay, they've got an okay team move, the quadruple powerbomb, and yeah, they went for the fucking team powerbomb, and yeah, so I don't know if this group's gonna last. Shawn Michaels doesn't have a good history with booking factions. Just look at fucking Schism. Schism could have been good. And I know you're laughing. Schism could have been good. But it wasn't. They ruined it. They put the Rock's daughter in there for some unknown fucking reason and they ruined it. So, hopefully, I wish this group all the best. I'm not wishing for their downfall. I'm not wishing for their failure. I just, I don't see it. I don't see it. But onto other matters, AEW matters. Now, Tony Khan decided to, and you're seeing me scroll through my phone because I'm trying to get up some information, so bear with me. Tony Khan was trying to fucking speak to the crowd at AEW Grand Slam. Now, he got booed out the fucking building. There were certain points where the crowd cheered, but he got booed horrifically, okay? Now, another problem here is that Tony Khan, after being booed, after the horrendous failure that this show has been, they've decided to return to Australia in 2026. They're going back. They're going back to Australia next year. What a joke. What an absolute joke. Now, I'm hearing Australians saying, it's Brisbane. Why would you do a show in Brisbane? You could have done it somewhere else and it would have been a lot better. I'm not an expert in Australian geography, but I reckon even if they went somewhere else, it'd have been a shit show. And it was a shit show. People were robbed. People were disappointed. The show was turned from a pay-per-view to a fucking glorified collision. And nobody was happy about it. And from what I can see, it was a very uneventful show. Incredibly uneventful. The World Championship wasn't even defended. Now, there's a report, and I believe this is from the AEW Mole. I've seen him say it as well, but I'm reading it from the death of AEW, right? So here's the report. I just got a report alleging that Kyle Fletcher got his buddies to loan AEW one of the local indie rings for AEW Grand Slam show. Apparently, AEW didn't factor in freight times properly for Brisbane travel. The ring is 16 by 16, way smaller than normal, and the ring aprons aren't a proper fit. If this is true, Tony should be ashamed. Now, I'm going to include a picture right now of this ring. You definitely can see that it's incredibly smaller than usual. So I believe this story. I do. Because, I mean, imagery right there, the ring looks fucking tiny. And we know what AEW is like with logistics. They always fuck up something. So, yeah, man, this show, I don't care who gives it a good review. Okay, I do not care. Captain America 4's getting okay reviews, but it doesn't change the fact that they spent fucking probably about $500,000 on the fucking budget after all the fucking reshoots. It's going to be a flop. This show is a flop. I don't care about the reviews. I don't care if the fans enjoyed the show. They put a lot of money into this. They definitely aren't getting the returns from what they've put in, the travel and everything. Imagine how much those flights would have been for all of them wrestlers to go to Australia alone. Yeah, and Tony pays for all that travel. Tony pays for all of that travel. As far as I'm aware, might have changed it, but as far as I'm aware, Tony still pays for all the travel. It's a loss. It's a definite loss, especially when it's not on pay-per-view. It's not on pay-per-view. They had to downsize with the arena and the ring, apparently. And the show's been a disaster. Tony gets booed out the building, and he says, we'll return in 2026. As if they're still around in 2026. For God's sake. I mean, NXT's beaten Dynamite for fucking how many weeks in a row now? NXT's soared higher than Dynamite every week. For many, many, many weeks. So, when WWE's developmental's beating you and you're supposed to be the second biggest professional wrestling company on the planet, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. This show wasn't a good look. This show was probably the biggest disaster in professional wrestling history when it comes to trying to book a show. I'm not talking about the biggest disaster of all time because we've seen people die in the ring. I'm talking about logistically and financially, this show has been a complete fucking disaster. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did Tony Khan deserve to be booed? Yes, he did. I'm going to answer that question for you already. What do you think of this new NXT faction? And do you think they should return in 2026? Of course you don't. Like, subscribe, follow me on X at crossband25. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.